Welcome to Minute with Myers. Today we're continuing our look, part 3, at Micah chapter 6, verse 8. What does the Lord require of you, O mortal? But to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. And today we're focused in on the walk humbly with your God. If you missed those first two parts, to do justice or love mercy, you can find those on our YouTube channel, Celebration Lutheran Mount Juliet, or on our Facebook page, Celebration Lutheran Mount Juliet. We're in Tennessee. But today, as we look at walk humbly with God, there's two things there. Of course, we'll assume God and our relationship with God, but the with, the togetherness, and then the humbly. When we think of the word, what it means to be humble, it means some ways we think of making less of ourselves. But in this case, it's not even making less of ourselves. When we talk about walking humbly with God, it means making the other more important. In every healthy relationship, the other person in the relationship is always more important. In this relationship, we can look and say, God puts us first. When we hear the story of God's people being delivered from slavery into freedom, God puts us first. When Jesus goes to the cross for us, when he suffers for us and dies for us, and when he's raised from the dead, God is always putting us first. But what does it look like then when we walk humbly with God, when we put God first? In that healthy relationship, then, when we're putting God first, we ask that question, and God, what are your needs? What are your wants? What are your desires, Lord? And amazingly enough, the way Micah tells it here, the words from God, we've already been told. What does God require? What does God want from us? But to do justice, love mercy, take care then of our neighbors, making sure they have what they need. They have everything they need. And to love doing it with compassion and mercy and kindness. It kind of reminds me of when a teacher of the law came and asked Jesus and called Jesus teacher and said, Teacher, which is the greatest commandment? And Jesus replied, Love the Lord your God with all your strength, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and a second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. It's a consistent theme through the Bible that God continues to want us to look beyond ourselves, not just at God, but to see beyond ourselves and see the world around us and see what the needs are of our neighbor in our communities, in our own homes, around the world, throughout our state, wherever you are, to see the needs of others and meet them and take care of them. It's like Martin Luther said, God doesn't need our good works, but our neighbor does. Amen.